I did have a question though for all you guys since you guys have been asking all the questions. So I was just wondering, what was your first, what you would consider actual home theater experience or home theater products? And like just an example, mine probably first or second year of college, I bought a refurbished Onkyo home theater in a box. Came with
Mm-hmm.
a 7.1 receiver, little satellite speakers, a 10-inch powered subwoofer, and like I said, it was like I think $250 for the entire thing. It was super cheap. Set it up in my bedroom because I was living with my parents, and that was like it kind of got me hooked in like surround sound and subwoofers in the home and things like that. And I was just like, man, this is awesome. That's kind of when it all started for me. So I was just wondering, what would you guys consider your first legit home theater products?
Cool. Great question. Ladies, do y'all have a home? We know Jill has a dedicated home theater
I
with
would
the THX, but what do
say
you got, Brittany?
my very first memory would have been, I mean, I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and my dad brought home RF7s, and they were in
Nice.
like an obnoxious cherry color. And I remember sitting down in front of them and thinking, like, these things are huge. My mom's gonna be so pissed. And we're listening to like Tracy Chapman and the Blues Brothers and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you mean by obnoxious color? The cherry
Oh,
yours
RF7
cherry?
cherries were beautiful.
I am not a fan of cherry. I feel like it's a really dated color. I don't.
Okay, but this was how many years ago, though, Brittany? That
Yeah.
would have been perfect timing back then.
We had wood paneling all over our walls, so it was like right in
It
its
kind of
element.
clashed.
Shag
I got
carpet, the whole 9 yards.
So I've always been a fan of cherry, mahogany. I always love those deep reds. The RF7 3s. It's the ones I've got are cherry, but it's a different cherry. It's not doesn't have as much of that red hue that you normally see. It's more of a lighter cherry. So
More modern.
yeah, more modern. She likes that. What about you, Jill?
My first home theater system, or do I like cherry?
Either one. Either one.
I think
Both.
when I first started working at Klipsch, those were my first. I didn't before that. I think we just used. I mean, we had a boob tube, and I thought the TV sound was fine, until you experience what it could be, and then you have to have more. So I had RF7s. I'm sorry, RF5s.
Mhm.
And the center channel that went with that, which I don't remember what the model number was. And then
The RC6, the RC7 went with the RF5s and the RF7s.
yes, that's what we had. And then the 12-inch subwoofer, and then we had in-ceiling rear surrounds.
So
And
you
then
do like cherry?
I think it was cherry.
Okay. Well, I trust your judgment because I know you have like that interior design sense. I see what you got.
But this
Yeah.
was
Cool back there.
2000,
A couple years ago.
2002 or 3 or something. So cherry was more my speed.
What do we
There
look?
you go.
Oh
There's
my!
this front setup.
There's
Isn't
this.
that crazy.
Look at his subs.
Wow.
So
Still got to paint those, by the way.
Those are 12s in the center channel, right?
Yeah, 12s in the center,
those are
12s in the
12.
towers.
gosh, that's insane, man.
Where's the
That's a
third
cool setup.
sub?
Really cool setup.
It's in the back of the room, right?
Yeah, it's in the back
Weird.
corner.
That's nicely done.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
It just needs
Yeah, I
to have
got
the
to still
cherry
paint
finish.
them, but yeah, cherry finish, of course.
Cherry. Yeah, go cherry.
Make it look-
That'll
And then
match nice.
Send it, do it cherry, send it to Brittany. Okay,
Yep.
wait, she probably won't post it. She won't post it. Come on.
Hopefully you post it.
The new beast
Ooh, throwing down the gauntlet.
in cherry.
That's awesome. I think
Hey,
for me, well,
Kyle,
go-
was your system was it the THX one, the Onkyo one, or not the not THX one?
Oh, for $250, it was not THX. I
It
will
was
tell you
not the
that.
THX.
yeah, he had the home,
No.
he said he had the home theater in a box. I know.
Yeah,
my
home
first
theater in a
one-
box.
They're not
Yeah,
doing
they had
back-
a home theater in the box that was a THX certified Onkyo one. Do you remember that one? I think it had like white
No,
cones or something like that. Anyway,
I don't.
yeah,
I was
my
back in
first
Circuit City.
my first system. All right, so my first let me see. Well, movie theater, obviously, right, was my first surround sound. like you go to a movie theater and they had surround sound.
Sure.
And then at Fry's, they had that demo where they, you know, they had big speakers on the wall, and then they were the Acoustimass. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. It at least sounded like something was going on. So I thought that was cool, but I couldn't afford anything when I was like, 12 years old. So I think I ended up buying a Dolby Pro Logic Kenwood receiver, right? That, and then I had to get a VCR that was you know, the HiFi had HiFi on there.
Yep.
They had the
That's
left and
Sony.
right. So
Yep.
I could
Had the
I
left
could
and right.
extract. It had to have left and right. That's it. So it could extract the Dolby Pro Logic from the left and right. And my receiver came with a free KLH center channel. And I know, you know, KLH they're making comeback, but at that time, not
They were
so.
the stuff?
It was
they
a
weren't
free
that
center channel. Think
Okay,
about it.
They weren't that.
I got a receiver,
best
and they
price.
gave me here you go. Here's the center channel. But yeah, they're doing some cool stuff now. But yeah, and then I had like some random Kenwood front speakers. I was so ghetto that like Kenwood front speakers. I'm just trying to think. Kenwood front speakers, and then in the back, I just used like, remember the Iowa systems?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Right, and they came with the
Those
speakers. I
plastic-
just used those
plastic
as a rear
cabinets.
surround. That was my system right there.
Nice.
Pretty
So funny.
hacky. And then
Sweet.
later on, when I ended up getting a JL Audio W6s, I ended up like throwing one of those in the corner. Not bad.
Yep.
And a Marantz receiver to power
Oh
that.
yeah, your old Marantz.
Yeah. That was my system.
There you go.
Yeah.
What was yours, Chana? First home theater.
Well, it all started with my dad, because my dad is huge into Bang & Olufsen, and I grew up listening to his Bang & Olufsen setup from the 70s. And then my parents divorced like when I was 6, so somewhere around freshman or sophomore year of high school, he wanted to do something so that we could bond, you know. So he wanted to set up whatever audio system and audio something was the, you know, hot thing at the time, which was Dolby Pro Logic 2, I think. And so we went every weekend to all these tiny little places, you know, and I just seen more Bang & Olufsen and Macintosh and all this stuff. And then finally settled, we listened to all kinds of speakers, finally settled on a pair of JBL 4208 monitors and a Denon Pro Logic receiver. And so that was my birthday present from him. And then my mom went ahead and bought the 5-disc CD changer and dual tape deck, all Denon. And then from there, I went and sourced out the other components, which ended up being a Polk Audio Center, which I got on clearance at Good Guys. And it was funny because I was just in there blasting like Metallica on that thing. Like people walk into the room and they're just like, and then I just look at them like, well, leave me alone, you know. And then got a couple of Polk Audio bookshelves for the surrounds. And this is just in my little bedroom when I was in high school. And then I mounted the surrounds up on the wall there. And I got a randomly good deal on a Celestion subwoofer. It was like 200 watt RMS self-powered bandpass, like dual 8-inch situation, which my mom is still using in her bedroom. And that was it. So it all started because my dad kind of played all this music on an awesome system, and I'd go to other people's houses and be like, this doesn't sound so good.
That's right.
What's wrong here? And I had no idea until like, you know, I was like in my 20s. I'm like, man, Dad, this stuff cost a lot. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, your mom was like so pissed because I was about to spend another $6,000 on these octagonal speakers that he was looking at from Bang & Olufsen, you know, in the 80s. And like, I guess there was a big fight about it. He was telling me. So that was my first little system.
Nice.
I have a quick question. What do you remember? What your first movie that you played like in your first surround sound system was?
Oh yeah, Braveheart, Laserdisc.
Braveheart.
Yeah, laser. That shit was on like repeat. I had that going on like 3 times in one day. That thing's like a 3-hour movie.
I do
just had it
remember
on.
now. Mine was Twister.
Twister.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Twister
that was
on
around that time.
VHS.
Good one.
Yeah, it was Twister on VHS. So my first home theater was back when I worked at Circuit City as a young guy, and we were able to about every 3 months we would get a magazine from the company, and it would allow us to buy products from those manufacturers that we carried for like 60% off. And so I was able to buy a whole Polk Audio system for 60% off. Got that Youthman deal, and
that only Youthman gets.
Yeah, but that was my first setup, and so I rocked that for a long time. Had a Pioneer, I think it was a Dolby Pro Logic receiver, so way back in the day, and then upgraded that to later a Dolby Digital system, and then bought a pair of used clips and literally fell in love with them. Ended up selling the Polk, and then it was down the rabbit hole trail. So,
Man,
Yeah.
Nice. Humble beginnings for all of us.
I'm checking back to see if this was in Pro Logic, but I think it was Batman Returns. I think that's what I watched.
I remember Twister, and I also had Top Gun on VHS.
Yeah, those and all the Star Wars movies I remember had good sound.
And then when I was in college, I wanted to get the Pioneer Laserdisc player. That was like $400, but as a college student, you're broke as a goat, man. You don't have any money. At least I did it. And I mean, I was doing good just to have like a $1 Totino's pizza in the little fridge.